Good morning and welcome back to the Vision Alignment Show, where we talk about how important it is to have your core beliefs, your core values, and your core strengths aligned with your vision. Man, I'll tell you what, somebody that knows a lot about his vision and how important it is to have those core strengths aligned with that vision is our guest today. I can't tell you how excited I am to have him come on and tell you a little bit about what he's done in the world and what he is doing in the world. I can't tell you, it's just been phenomenal to you're gonna be in for a treat. I'm just really looking forward to this. Without any further ado, I want to bring on our guest out of the green room, Mr. Anton. And by the way, before I tell you his name, I want to let you know I have a little bit of vision problem. Yes, I know I have a vision problem, but it's getting a little worse. So my left eye doesn't open as much as it used to, like last week. So I don't see quite well enough for something. So if I make mistakes going through this, bear with me. We're going to get there. It's just all going to be good. So it's just a matter of time. You know, we're going through this process, and it's a process we all know. It's about going from blindness to sight to vision. So without any further ado, I want to bring our guest today, Mr. Anton Gunn. Anton.
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic, man. It's a great day.
It's so good to have you on today.
Happy to be on.
Well, thank you for making the time. Anton, tell me, when is your first recollection of knowing your vision?
Wow. That's a very powerful question. I think, I'm going to give you two answers, and I think they're really important for me to, walk you through this. When I was about 12 years old, maybe 13 years old, I had a dream, and it was kind of a bad dream. The dream was I was in a football stadium, and it was full of people, and they were all crying and screaming. They were emotional. They were not negative emotional, but they were just really emotional. And they were speaking a language that was different than my language. And I was standing there on the side of the stage, and I said, well, what am I supposed to say? And the person in the dream says, you just need to tell the world your name. And that was the first time that I knew that it was something big for me to do. However, I had no idea what that was. But you fast forward 25, 30 years later, I got really crystal clear that my vision was focused on one word, and that word was justice. That I believe that I have a responsibility and a role to make the world a more just, fair, and equitable place for every person in it. That I can't solve every problem, but I can do something to make things right. I can do something to make things right. So it was probably, in my, 20s, or really my 30s that I got crystal clear that that's what my vision was.
Wow. Awesome. If you want to hear more about Anton Gunn and his vision, stay right there. Well, welcome back, everyone. But if you would, when you're online, put in a hashtag live. If you're listening live, if you're listening on replay, put a hashtag replay. Let us know where you're coming in from. That would be great if you would do that. That would be just phenomenal. So, wow, Anton, Gunn. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. You've done so much with what you have. How have you had that proper mindset? How have you gotten to understand that?
Yeah. So, Brian, I will tell you, I'm a summary of all of the leaders who have invested in me. And I will tell you that for anybody listening, one of the most important things you can have in your life are good mentors. Another most important thing is to be a reader or a listener. And so for me, my context of my mindset comes from the things that I pour in. You know, the phrase garbage in, garbage out. We've all heard that. The more garbage you put into your brain, the more garbage that comes out. Well, I have a better context that I like to talk about, and that is your mindset is more important than your skill set. That we all know people who are incredibly talented, you know, physically, whether you're an athlete or maybe they can sing or maybe they can write, they can do all of these great things with their physical abilities. But if you don't have the right mindset about what you do every day, your skill set won't matter. You know, it won't outwork the person who has the right mindset. So for me, I always found a way to dial myself in to listening to good things that would add value to me. Jim Rohn, Les Brown, we all know those great philosophers and speakers who've added so much. Brian Tracy's another one. But I find a way to really, really, really invest in mindset development. And that's reading good books every day. That's listening to podcasts, audiobooks. And I do this thing called a 30-day mental fast where no social media, no TV, no newspapers, no magazines. I don't even respond to text messages from people who like to drain my energy. And for 30 days, I just pray, I visualize, and I think about what I want to do in life. And that's how I get crystal clear on it.
Wow. How often do you do that?
Every 6 months or so, we do a 30-day mental fast. So my wife and I got it from her. It's her idea. We started it in about 2013. And we usually either do it in the first month of the year, so January, or we'll do it in July, in like a midpoint of the year, to really kind of recalibrate and refocus in on our goals. And what you find is that, you know, when you tune out all of those things, and the things that we add in are that we read from an inspiring or an empowering book, like 15 minutes a day, every day for the month, it really just kind of helps you to refocus in on the things that you need to do in order to achieve the success and the goals that you want.
It's those little things you do every day.
Yes.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And it's good for you to give credit where credit's due too. I'm sure your wife would appreciate that.
Yeah, she's been a clairvoyant decision maker in a lot of moves that I made. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a husband and I'm a man, so sometimes it takes her 999 times to tell me, and then I have to hear the idea from somebody else first, and then then I'll execute on it. So I do make those mistakes, but every now and then it'll get through on the first time, and I'll execute on it, and it has put us in such a better position because, you know, I followed her lead on those things, and I know that, and that's what a good leader should do. Is, you know, you should always learn to listen twice as much as you speak, and you might learn something.
Yeah, that's very true. There's a couple of people on here we want to make sure we say hello to. There's I'm sorry, Candace Kingston, and Linda Kazera from West Virginia. Thank you very much for dialing in, all of you. And yeah, great idea, Anton. And it's a hard thing to do. Yeah, like there's lots of things that are like that. They're easy to read, but they're hard to do.
Yes, they are.
So, would you say that's the biggest factor in your success is the mindset?
So it's two things: mindset and work ethic. And, you know, and we always hear these in a cliche. So I saw that Linda's from West Virginia. So I come from West Virginia roots. So my great grandfather was born in Danville, Virginia, but worked in a coal mine for 25 years in Montgomery, West Virginia. And that's where my grandfather was born. And he hopped on a coal train and ended up in Virginia where I grew up. But my point of talking about my origin story is working in a coal mine is hard work. And it's something you got to do every day. And many people spend their entire lives working that hard. So for me, it's having the right mindset, but it's also doing something every day to what I call winning the day. So I'm a former athlete. I played college sports, played multiple sports in high school. And so we always want to know at the end of the game, did we win or did we lose? You know, we might play bad the whole game, but if we played great in the last minute and we were able to pull out a victory, then we celebrate the fact that we won. But if we played great for 59 minutes and we played terrible in that 1 minute and we lose a game, then we can't celebrate that win. So every day I make a list of things to do, and sometimes it's 5 things. And so my decision of whether I won or lost that day, did I get the majority of my things done or did I not get anything done? And so if I have 5 things and I got 1 thing done, I could count it as a win. It's a moral victory because I got something done. But I set my goal to do 5 things and I only did 1. So I really didn't win. But if I get all 5 done, then great. I had a slam dunk day. So you got to do something every day. So you got to have the right mindset, but you got to do something every day. And it doesn't have to be big things. It can be small things. It might be, did I edit that 1 document that I've been having sit on my desk all week? Or did I record 1 video? Or did I return 3 phone calls? I mean, it could be simple, small things, but you got to do something to win the day. You got to have the right mindset to work at it. But number 2, you got to get it done.
Awesome. Tell us, what's the best advice you've ever gotten?
Wow. The best advice I've ever been given came from a mentor, and his name was Kevin Gray. I've always been a prolific speaker, so I'm going to preface it with that. So I would give incredible speeches, and for people who were in the audience, they would cry, they would laugh, they would get, great value out of it. And then after it was over with, if you weren't there, you missed it. And Kevin Gray said this to me, and it fundamentally changed how I think about my work as a speaker and as an author. He says, Anton, if you write it down, it will last longer. And it was profound to me because I've been giving speeches for years, but I never put anything on paper. And his point was, if you write it down and put it in a book, then it can live on beyond your life. Like even if you lose your voice and you could never speak again, the words that you put on paper can last forever. And now with all of the other tools around video and everything else, is when you document your journey, when you capture your content and make it accessible for other people to use it, your message and your value can outlive your life. And that's really what legacy should be about, is what do you leave behind for people after you? So Kevin Gray, I give him all the credit. He says, write it down and it will last longer.
I like it. Nice. Some other people here. Linda agrees with you about the coal miners. And then Wes loves your comment about slam dunk today. So that's good. Awesome. Thank you. So what's the next level of success look like for you?
Wow. The next level of success, you know what, Brian, I'm going to say it like this. I stopped chasing success about 10 years ago. Now, why did I stop chasing success? Because success is however we decide to measure it. So for some people, success might be getting out of the bed in the morning. Success might be just having another day with breath in your body and blood pumping in your veins. Or success might be making $100 million or starting 5 companies. Success can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. And it meant a lot of different things to me. So I stopped chasing success and I decided to focus on significance. That my goal is to be significant in the lives of every leader who leads in a hospital or healthcare organization. And why do I say that? Because I just fundamentally believe that healthcare is important to all of us. And so sometimes we might get sick, we may need a surgery, we may have a cold, or we may just need to go to the doctor. And when we go into those places, we're expecting to be healed. But what I found over my 25-year career of working in healthcare, many of the people who work in healthcare are hurting themselves. That are struggling with depression and anxiety. And of course, being in the middle of this pandemic, we all have seen how bad it has been for a lot of healthcare workers in our lives. But it was like that a decade before this pandemic and 5 years before. So I want to help those leaders. I want to help the people who build and lead the teams in those organizations. I want to be significant to them. So my goal is to help them to become a world-class organization with great culture, with diverse, high-performing teams and leaders that everybody admires. Because Miles Monroe summed up my focus in this way. Success without a successor is a failure. And that if I don't use my gifts and my talents to leave the world a better place for those that come along after me, I might be successful, but I will never be significant. And my goal is to be significant, and success will be an instantaneous byproduct, because you can be significant to one people and they may have the most successful life that they will ever live because you were significant. So I stopped chasing success and I just want to be significant.
That's good. That's good. And I know you have a website and stuff where you do talk more about this, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So is this it?
Yes, you can definitely go to antongunn.com, actually antongunn.com/blog, and you can read my blog. I post something every week where I'm trying to add value to leaders who lead teams and organizations. Sometimes it's tough love and it's telling you the things that you don't want to think about. Like I told leaders in an email last week, you better fire yourself before you get fired. And what my point is that we try to take on too much work and we have so many things on our plate that we can't possibly do them all. So stuff starts to fall off of our plate. And when it doesn't get done, our bosses start to look and wonder, why you aren't getting everything done? It's because you're trying to do too much. So fire yourself from certain tasks and hand them off to other team members before you're the one that actually get fired. And so it's inspirational, it's motivational, it's empowering, but it really is honest feedback on how you can become a better leader, a leader who becomes admired by every person that you lead. That's my goal.
I love it. So go to antongunn.com/blog.
Yes.
Got it.
See it there. You can easily find it from my homepage.
Yeah. Thank you. And then Wes loves your comment about Miles Monroe. So
yes, brother. I plan on dying empty. I want to pour it all out into the universe, into the world, and hope that it makes a difference in the lives of people. So Wes, you're a man after my own heart, if you know what I'm talking about.
Wes is the man. Yeah, he's great. Wow. So tell me, you must have some obstacles or challenges you're still trying to overcome. What would those be?
Yeah. So lots of obstacles. Lots of obstacles. I think my biggest obstacle is time management. Is that if you can't tell, I'm a very passionate person, passionate about a lot of different things. And it's easy for me to get sucked into something that I'm passionate about and throw everything else to the side. And so I'm not the most efficient with my time. And my wife will tell you that I'm a night owl. I work late into the night and I still get up early in the morning. So sleep is not at all something that I get enough of. And so I got to do a better job with that. That's just one thing. Second thing, it's, the context of, there's so much you want to do, but you're trying to figure out how to have the deepest and best impact. And so I'm still in the decision-making phase on a lot of different things. I'm contemplating a next book to come out in 2023. But there are a lot of people who've been telling me, Anton, you should put your content in the courses and make them available to people. So I'm dabbling into that lane right now. And of course, as a keynote speaker, you want to be on stage in front of people, but it's hard to do that in the middle of a pandemic where nobody's gathering large meetings anymore. Right. And so we're now all trying to figure it out. So I'm kind of all over the place. And I'll tell you the last obstacle, and this is one that's probably not obvious to your viewers or listeners or anyone, is my health is an obstacle. And, I'm a former college football player. I haven't played college football in 27 years. Okay. But I still look like a football player. I'm still built like a football player. I'm way overweight. I'm too big than what I should be. And I've been working on it, and I've lost about 40 pounds. But if I'm not in my optimum health, it's going to make it hard for me to be able to deliver the value to the people that I need to deliver value for the long term. So I got to get up and walk my 5 miles every morning. I got to do my push-ups and my sit-ups. I got to eat better. And especially when you travel a lot as a speaker, you end up with a lot of airport food and hotel food and late night dinners with clients before you speak the next morning. So I'm not at all good at managing my, bio lifestyle, if you will, my health and wellness. And so that's been a huge obstacle, and it's slowed me down sometimes. And so I got to stay on it every day.
Wow. That's good. So who sees your blind spots?
A lot of people. So I'm very comfortable as a leader of having friends tell me when my stuff stinks. And that's the cleanest version that I could. My stuff stinks. Okay.
Gotcha.
So, my wife really is the person who sees a lot of my blind spots from a husband's side, from a father's side, even from a business side. She has a lot of great ideas, particularly around time management and organization. So she sees a lot. And then I have a group of friends who are not yes men. And I think the failure of people in our position sometimes is that we get people around us who tell us what we want to hear. And they like to attaboy us and pat us on the back because we're doing all of these phenomenal things. But I don't want an attaboy. I actually have friends who don't care about what I do. They don't see me as a speaker and as an author or a former advisor to President Obama. They don't see me in any of those ways. I'm just Anton that they went to college with, or Anton that they went to high school with. And they will tell me, dude, you need to take that post down. Or, why'd you say that way? And, you're not reaching me with that. So you may not be reaching other people. They will tell me my stuff is bad. And I'm okay with that because it actually helps me to get better. So I got a group of friends who do that for me. And, I'm just happy to have them in my life. All
right. So you just dropped a big bomb. You said something about former advisor to the president.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, so you can't just let that go. I can't do that. So I'm going to give you the floor, and I'm going to let you tell the story about how you ended up being the president's advisor.
Yeah. Thank you so very much for allowing me to share this. So, long story short, I'm passionate about ending injustice in our communities. And so for a decade, I worked and did community work, trying to improve healthcare system for low-income, underserved people. That kind of ushered me into political spaces, if you will. I ran for office one time in 2006, and I ended up losing. Not surprisingly, because most people lose when they run for office the first time, and I lost. But I was so passionate about trying to make a difference. I had kind of decided that I was thinking about running again. And then I heard that Barack Obama was also thinking about running for president. So this is late 2006, early 2007. And I found myself reading his book, The Audacity of Hope. I learned a lot about him and what his vision was for America. And I was like, man, this guy's phenomenal. I need to get to know him. And of course, I didn't know anybody in politics, never met anybody, never talked to anybody. And I said, well, I told my friends, I said, listen, guys, I'm going to call Barack Obama and see if I can get involved in his campaign. And these same friends, they kind of laughed at me. Anton, how are you going to call Barack Obama? You don't know him. Nobody knows him, and you don't know how to get to him. And I literally picked up the phone and I called his Senate office on a Monday morning. And the person answered the phone and says, this is Senator Barack Obama's office. How can I help you? And I said, I want to speak to Barack Obama. And they said, what about? And I said, I just want to talk to him about running for president. And they says, are you from Illinois? I was like, no, I'm from South Carolina. And they said, well, call your own U.S. Senator. And I said, I don't want to talk to my U.S. Senator. I want to talk to Barack Obama. And they took a message politely, but nobody returned my phone call. So I called on Tuesday, and the same conversation happened again. Nobody returned my phone call. Then I called on Wednesday, and the same conversation happened again, and nobody returned my phone call. Then I called on Thursday again, Same thing happened. Nobody returned my phone call. So I said, well, maybe I'm doing this wrong. So I decided to send an email, and I sent an email to his website on Friday. And not surprisingly, nobody responded to my email. And then I waited the next Monday, and I called again, and I called again, and I called again. And then I was like, well, maybe I'm really doing this wrong after the 9th phone call and nobody's calling me back. So I decided to call his office in Chicago, his Senate office in Chicago. And they took a message and nobody called me back. Then I got frustrated. I was very frustrated that nobody was calling me back, but I shouldn't have been surprised. I mean, why would Barack Obama care about some unknown guy in South Carolina that he's never met, doesn't know from a man in the moon? And, why would the staff even bother to call him back? Well, I got so upset that I decided to be unconventional with my approach. And I literally picked up the phone and I called his Senate office in downstate Illinois. Now, let me give you some concept. Illinois is a long state. The northern part of the state is where Chicago is, suburbs of Chicago. It's where all of the progressive people, the Democrats or the liberals would live, if you would say that. But downstate Illinois is more conservative. It's more farmland, more rural. So more conservative and less likely to have a lot of people calling their Democratic U.S. senators. So their phone may not ring a whole lot. Well, I took a chance and I called that downstate office, and the young lady that answered the phone, I said, listen, you don't know me, but my name is Anton Gunn. And I've been calling Barack Obama time and time again. And I heard he's thinking about running for president. And there's this thing called the South Carolina primary where every candidate has to come through this state. And if he don't call me back, I'm going to make sure he loses. And I hung up the phone on her. Now, I did give her my phone number before I called, but I hung up the phone. And it was about 20 minutes later that I got a phone call back from U.S. Senator Barack Obama. It blew me away. Yes. He called me back. We ended up talking for 20 minutes. I ended up meeting him 2 weeks later in a car ride. And then he says, I want you on my campaign team. And I became his political director and really advising him on his political strategy as he ran for president the first time. And if people want to read more about this story, there's a small magazine called Time Magazine that wrote a 2-page piece on how I got involved in Obama's campaign. So if you just Google Anton Gunn, Time Magazine, Barack Obama, the story should come up. I think it might be behind a paywall, but it might be free. But you can see how me as a political novice got involved in President Obama's grassroots campaign and became a part of American history.
That's amazing.
It was a great experience. It was a great experience.
Huh. Wow. So you've taken that and you've done something with it, and I love that. But how do you stay steadfast?
The thing that grounds me is family. Mm-hmm. My wife, my daughter, my mom, and my brothers, my mother-in-law, they all inspire me in different ways. Mm. And my goal is to keep pushing myself to be empty as I can be for all of them, to really pour out everything that I can to make the world a better place for them. And some of this is born out of a little struggle. We didn't talk a lot about this, but my younger brother was killed in a terrorist attack by 2 Al-Qaeda suicide bombers aboard the USS Cole on October 12, 2000. So when I lost my younger brother in 2000, it was one of the most difficult times of my life. I wanted to give up on everything. I literally wanted to quit life and move back home to Virginia to take care of my mom, my dad, and my other 2 brothers. And it was a hard time. And it was in the wake of that tragedy that I realized that I didn't have a lot of photos of me and my brother in our older years. I mean, we had photos when we were kids, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But as 18, 19, 20, 21, I didn't have any photos of my brother and I. And so I decided that I would focus on family to make memories every chance that I get. And so my hard work and my work ethic is around trying to create the space that we can always make memories, that we can take photos at every place that we go and everything that we do, and remember what we did, and that everybody enjoys life because we spend it together. And that's what keeps me moving forward and being steadfast on everything that I'm doing.
Well, I got to tell you, that's beautiful, Anton. I love it. I'm a big family guy myself. So, that's awesome to hear. Believe it or not, we have gone through our time for today. It is going by so quickly, and I'm just amazed. But I thank you so much for being on today.
Well, I thank you for having me. I thank you for doing this and creating a platform. Your context going from blindness to vision is so spot on. Most of us walk around blind to something. Sometimes it's to our own failures. Sometimes it's to the challenges that are in front of us. Sometimes it's to other people's pain and the things that they're going through. And the goal as a leader is to go from blindness to have a vision. And my vision is tied to how I can make the world a more just and equitable place for every leader that leads, and give them the tools so they can help make it right in the spaces in which they occupy. So I'm grateful you gave me the opportunity to be a part of your platform and your journey. And I'm so glad to get to know you.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you. And Anton, I'm going to let you go to the green room for a little bit here. I'll talk to you when I come off the show, but thank you again.
Thank you very much.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Oh my gosh. These interviews are amazing. There are some really amazing people out there, and I'm blown away by guys like Anton Gunn, an advisor to the President of the United States. Like, huh? That's just crazy. I'm just so glad that he was on today. And there's Randall Reeder on as well. Thank you, Randall. Thank you. But there's just so much good going on in this world. We need to look for it. We need to look for it. We need to not discount so many people that we would normally maybe discount. So just consider doing all that. Consider doing a great thing this week, and just staying the course for the moment. Understanding how important your core beliefs and your core values are. They need to be aligned with your vision. Your vision is your preferred state. So if your preferred state is not in alignment, you may need to consider changing that vision. So if you want to talk more about that, I'd be happy to talk with you personally. Again, if there's ever anything that I could do, by all means, let me know. And as always, keep one eye on the road.